A lot of large developers, in fact, have gone back to believing that real estate is more of a local business. And you actually have, the family owns a huge amount of land parcels within Mumbai suburbs. You still thought it was a better strategy to spread out across the country?
We did, and we continue to feel that way. And again, I think it's one of these questions that there's probably no one-size-fits-all correct answer. You know, I think it might be perfectly reasonable for some developer to choose to play more strongly in one region. Perhaps they have a very strong brand in that particular region that's not as easily extendable. Perhaps they have very good relationships, etc., in that location that, again, cannot as easily be extended. As we looked, however, at our own business, we felt the biggest advantage we had was a brand that is known across the country.
Right.
Which allows us to more easily, we believe, attract partners on the land ownership side as well as end customers in new markets. And I think we've now demonstrated through very successful project launches in cities in all parts of the country that is possible with a good brand name like ours.
Have there not been big challenges in following the asset light model? JVs in real estate sometimes are tricky businesses, aren't they?
They can be, but I think we're certainly overall very, very happy with the way our joint venture strategy has played out over the last few years.
So what has worked?
I think what's worked again is making sure that we're selecting the right partners, that we're not overextending ourselves just in one geography, but really looking at creating that national footprint and thereby de-risking ourselves from any one micro market, and ultimately making sure that the project by project makes sense, because I think the aggregate often is a sum of the parts. So I think we think we're very happy with the types of projects we've added, and it's not to say, of course, that we haven't made mistakes, that we haven't had projects that have not been or have not lived up to expectations. But I think what really counts for us and what will enable us to ensure we can grow well in the future is making sure we're learning the appropriate lessons from those mistakes and implementing them on our new projects.
All right. So the name itself, like you say, it inspires instant trust, and you didn't have to worry about taking the brand across the country, but that brand also brings with it great amount of responsibility. What happens when a project gets delayed? How do you deal with the customer?
Well, there's no question, first of all, that I think the brand is unequivocally our biggest source of strength and our biggest advantage in the sector. Of course, it does come with a commitment to customers regarding quality, regarding completion timelines, and so on. I think we're generally quite proud of our track record on the execution side. I think, unlike other developers, of course, there are many developers who do deliver consistently on time, but there are others who have not had the best track record on that. We feel pretty good about the track record we've had, but of course, there are some projects that can get a little bit delayed. I think, more than just a question of whether it's 100% on time or not is how you handle the customer. Do you keep them appropriately informed? Do you take them along and truly treat them as a partner in your development, which is what we seek to do.
Okay. Your father, of course, has said that in years to come, the real estate portfolio is going to be the largest amongst all Godrej businesses. So that's a big target. Is that prognosis based on the fact that the family already has so much of land and there's so much value to be unlocked?
I think it's a little bit, certainly, because we do feel we have a lot of opportunity here in Mumbai through our own land holdings. Of course, we have some smaller land holdings in other parts of the country, but the big opportunity with our own group companies is here in Mumbai. But certainly, I think, over the last 5 to 10 years, what we've tried to do is build a large external-facing business development pipeline. And I think, we've added about 20 new projects to our portfolio over the last 2 or 3 years, more than doubling the number of projects we're executing. So very much, I think we'll both look to do development on lands that we have partnerships with our group companies, but certainly we'll seek to grow through external partnerships as well. And I think what sort of led to a statement of the type that you mentioned is that the sector ultimately is one that, while there are no shortage of short-term headaches and challenges and problems, does offer almost unmatchable long-term opportunity. So I think if you look at the sector in terms of the scale it's achieved today, and you compare it to say something like China, what you'll see is that the biggest developers here are doing maybe 5% or 10% of the volume of sales on an annual basis that the big Chinese developers are doing. Now, of course, the two countries are very different. The role of government is very different. The ease of development there is quite different. But I certainly see that over the next 10, 15 years, as India's economy on an overall basis gets closer in size to what China's is today, which I have very little doubt that it will, we will see both the sector itself, the overall sector, growing tremendously, but also I think the developers that are able to differentiate themselves within the sector can certainly outperform the sector. So I think, certainly my job and our team's job is to make sure that we are one of those companies that remains at, one of the most successful developers in the country, because we don't feel, too much concern about the overall growth of India or the overall growth of the sector.
I'm so glad to hear that. Commercial, so that's where the pain point is, and you do have 4 projects and a large one coming up. Are you, so the residential side, I can see that there is just so much demand. If you've got the right product at the right price with a brand name such as yours and delivery record, it will not be a problem. But commercial, do you see a lot of pain point there?
Well, I think, there's no doubt in our current commercial portfolio and some of the older projects, these have been much slower than we'd have liked, have ultimately involved us putting in much more capital than we'd initially expected. So I think, certainly we've learned from those mistakes on how we're structuring our projects. We're first of all focusing more on residential. But, if you're asking from a Godrej Properties perspective, I think strategically we feel the bigger opportunity for us is in residential. But I do think that commercial real estate presents a big overall opportunity for the sector. It's not that we think, the current weakness will persist. And I think the broader point in some ways is that
You don't think the current weakness
I don't think it will persist. Okay. For the simple reason that I think, in real estate, people often try to extrapolate a little bit more than they should.
Right.
So when times are good, everyone thinks they're going to stay that way forever, and everybody and their brother becomes a developer and launches a new project, which of course creates a situation of oversupply, which in turn then creates the next down cycle when the oversupply has to get worked through the system. And I think we're fairly far along that process where a lot of the oversupply in commercial is getting absorbed. And what's of course happened is that most developers now are not announcing any new commercial real estate plans because they're extrapolating the current weakness to last indefinitely, which of course also won't be true. And as the demand absorbs the currently available supply, my expectation is that 2 or 3 years down the road, we will once again be in a situation that is more skewed in favor of developers, where the supply available is not enough to meet the demand. Now, whether that position takes 2 years to get there or 4 years to get there will of course depend a lot on market conditions overall. And of course, it's not I'm sort of making some average comments, but each city is a little bit different. The oversupply in some cities is more than in others, and so on. But certainly, I think commercial real estate is an attractive opportunity, and I think in many ways now is quite an interesting time to be looking at commercial real estate because not too many people are.
So that's all about business. Let's come back to a little bit about the family and your personal ambitions, etc. Your team describes you. I asked them, I just sent it and I said, so what is the one word you would use to describe Pirojsha Godrej? And they said down to earth and very driven.
That's very kind of them, but you have no way of knowing whether I forced them to say that or not.
I don't think that was in the list of questions that I sent you. But really, I mean, if you were to look at your leadership style and say, this is a kind of leader that I am today and would like to be,
I think rather than that, I think I think the style is really acknowledging what your strengths are, what you can bring to the table, but more importantly, knowing what your weaknesses are or where you can add only limited value, and I think making sure that you give people the flexibility and freedom to deliver. So I think my number one role in the company is clearly to make sure we have the right set of leaders in our team, and that then I empower them and try to do my bit to motivate them to give their best. Because certainly, we have many people in the company who are much more seasoned leaders, much more seasoned real estate veterans than I am, who can handle the tasks that they are charged with much better than I could. And I think that is my role, making sure that is true, that stays true.
Your working relationship with your father?
It's great. I mean, he's a fabulous person to work with. And I think he gets this exactly right. This balance between being there and supporting you when needed, being there with advice always. He's somebody you can get a hold of on a moment's notice. He'll respond to his emails or calls literally within seconds most of the time. But also has the wisdom and the confidence to step back and let people go out and operate with a free hand. So I think I never feel he's looking over my shoulder or sort of questioning what I'm doing. He's always there with advice and help and support, but certainly gives me and the rest of the team the ability to go out there and execute. So it's a great relationship. He's a wonderful man. I think both as a father and as a
and
boss.
He's not set
you couldn't ask for more.
low targets for you. The targets themselves are so high.
Right.
So beyond business, what's your personal ambition? What is it that you would like to do?
Well, I think obviously I think it's important for anyone to have interests and aspirations outside of work. So I have a large set of hobbies that I enjoy. I collect rare books. I like to travel quite a bit. So I sort of enjoy spending time with my family. We have a young child now, so that's been great fun for me. But I think certainly also quite busy at the moment on the work side. A lot of exciting opportunities before us. So I think quite focused on making sure we do well and manage to capture those.
Pirojsha Godrej, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Great to be with you, Nisha. Thank you.
The young CEO of Godrej Properties has every bit of what it takes to achieve the scorching pace of growth set by his illustrious father. What an enriching experience for the entire property team to chronicle the stories of visionaries, risk takers and leaders of Indian real estate. We hope you've enjoyed watching the series as much as we have. Goodbye.